Welcome, Urban Priestesses. Thank you so much for being with us today. I have the greatest honor and blessing to introduce to you Anaiya Sophia, and I am in her home here in Puvert, France. Is that the right way?
That's right. Yes.
Okay, Puvert, France. And I've been walking the pathways of the Priestess of the Magdalena with Anaiya as my most gracious Holy Sophia guide the last 2 days. And so it is with just such a warm feeling in my heart that we are sitting together in Anaiya's meditation room. And I love to welcome Anaiya. Thank you so much for receiving me so graciously. And thank you for saying yes to this interview time as well.
Oh, you're welcome. I have enjoyed every moment we've been together.
It's a deep recognition for us in the way of sisterhood. So I would like to open with Anaiya. Would you please just tell us a little bit about your journey and whatever you feel is, speaking through your heart right at this time?
Well, I'm here now in this moment, very much inflamed with this sacred marriage work and this inner marriage, this union of the masculine and the feminine and the human and the divine. And since I can remember, going back to the age of 7, I've very much been pulled into the experiential Christ path. Not so much religion and church going, but more understanding what was the way and how do you do it. And so that brings me here and now, kind of 40 years later, understanding a little bit more and using every possible medium to express that to all people.
Thank you. Anaiya, she's an incredible author of many books. One of the books, let's show the sacred,
this one,
Sacred Sexual Union, and another one is Womb Wisdom. And what other books do you have?
So I have 2 styles of writing. I have what I call spiritual or mystical how-to. And then the other form of writing is my own imaginative musings, which is always archetypal. And one of the great pledges I've made to the Holy Sophia is to retell the Pistis Sophia, which is kind of like the Gnostic Bible, but retell it in a languaging that we can understand and get completely enraptured by. I often say to people, read the Pistis Sophia, it's all there, I'm very excited by it. But they get into it a few pages and it's like, oh no, this is too heavy, we can't possibly read this. And so I'm left with this great frustration because there's a wealth, a body of material there. So I said, okay, I'm going to stick incredibly close to the original script, but characterize it in our tribe, our Burning Man tribe, and use the soundscapes and the everyday languaging, because it's our story. Yeah,
great, and you do it so with so much awesomeness.
I enjoy it.
You make it really alive.
Yeah.
And the way that I came to Anaiya is I had a dream vision last July in 2015. So this is May 10th of 2016, and in July of 2015 I had a vision of being in a cave in the south of France, of which I'd never been to, and with a vision of Magdalina and Yeshua, of Jesus and Mary Magdalene together in a healing ceremony with me for the alchemy of my own soul and what I was undergoing at that time. And so now, these many months later, but not that many because it's not even a year, so I feel so blessed, I find myself in the home of this exquisite, beautiful priestess of the tradition. And when I was flying home from that particular trip, I had been in Avalon when I received this dream vision. I was on the internet, and out of nowhere, Anaiya's website popped up on my screen. And I knew from the moment that I saw it that I was going to come and to meet her. And I went to her contact form. I wrote you on the airplane, and not even like 3 minutes later, Anaiya responded to me. Now, if you probably know either of us in the world of technology and in responding to emails that quickly and even writing them, it was pretty amazing. It feels like a magical gap in the universe that lined everything up for us to receive the email and actually write back, and for her website to pop up mysteriously for me, which I'm ever so grateful for. And that's how I came here. So now I've been here the last 2 days, and Anaiya's been really taking me in the path of Magdalena and in the land and in this beautiful mystic union. So I would love for you to share with us and speak to us. You said that you love the sacred marriage, and if you could speak to us a little bit of the sacred marriage of Yeshua and Magdalena.
Well, my heart tells me that these two human beings were equals in every sense of the word. Mary was not his support. Mary was a priestess of the lineage of Isis, and with her open womb and his sacred heart, they were able to do what they did. This is the purest alchemy of masculine and feminine consciousness, doing what they did. And, you know, the stories I was telling you this afternoon over lunch, I truly believe that when he went into the passion, when he went into that death, he did go down into that dark, dark place and literally retrieve the original essence of the Holy Sophia, which you could say was the enormity of Mary Magdalene's soul. To me, Holy Sophia is Mary Magdalene's overlighting mother. I believe very much that he pulled that up from the darkest recesses, imbued it back into her essence. He was now gone from human form and now encased in his light garments. And of course she's left upon the face of the earth, and she has, you know, maybe 20, 30 years to continue to embed the way. And of course now she can, because she's fully unified. This is the level of alchemy that is possible for man and woman. In their alchemy, I believe they became divine. They weren't divine at the beginning. They were humans just like us. But because of their love and their trust and consciousness in the process, no doubt, no shadow, constantly trusting and fully conscious, step by step by step. Of course, they would have had their moments, because they're human, but their moments didn't take them down. They overcome one obstacle after the other, and so that love and consciousness and trust grew and grew and grew, and they became completely purified and divine. And this is what I believe the way is, this alchemical process. And in the Bible it says, and so he sent forth 72 pairs of disciples. Not for one moment do I believe or feel or see that that was 72 pairs of men. Not at all, not at all, not at all. This was 72 couples carrying this sacred marriage technology and wisdom, because sacred marriage is never about the perfection of the two. It's the perfection of the two. They then turn back to back, and they extend their radiance out into the larger community to every living thing, seen and unseen. Yes. That's what I think sacred marriage is.
Yes. Thank you. You can see why I never want to leave your home. And would you speak to us for the modern day relationships? Some of, whether it's man and woman, woman to woman, man with man, but our modern day intimacies, and how the wisdom of the Holy Sophia and the sacred alchemical union of Yeshua and Magdalena, how that can really transmit to us, and how we can awaken in this, and in the most practical ways assimilate the transmissions so that we can be as alive and beautifully intimate as possible.
Okay, well, again, I'm just going to give my 2 pennies. 2016, we're in a world now where we know we're changing paradigms, and we know the old model of relationship that our parents lived does not work. Nuclear family does not work. 2.5 kids and 2 cars in the driveway does not work. And so we look out to the new paradigm and we see a few options. There's something called conscious relationship, which is fabulous, but it's not very sexy. You spend most of your time analysing your behaviour, fabulous for consciousness, but the Shakti is not there. So that's, but not my choice. And then, of course, the trend at the moment has been, and I believe it is changing, is polyamory. So, yes to the erotic, yes to the Shakti, but the meticulous refinement of consciousness, in my opinion, is not there. It's a free-for-all another sexual revolution, maybe not that progressive for the soul. But then, of course, I'm very biased, and there's the third option, which is sacred union, sacred marriage, and I see that's where both can jump in and have a wonderful alchemy together. Fully conscious, fully in integral vertical alignment, and fully erotic and Shakti and in perfect horizontal alignment. So to me, this is the mix. Beautiful. You've got your consciousness and you've got your sexuality. However, it takes two. And of course, we used to say, oh, this is a 50-50 alchemy. No, it is 100% each alchemy. Both partners have to be game on. And we have a few, Pete, my partner, Pete Wilson, we've come up with a few items that we can look at in this very practical way. We call it closing the back door. So closing the back door is where you can leak energy. One of my little qualities was whenever there was a contrast or a conflict in the primary relationship, I would then go and see my ex-partners, call them up, have supper together, which of course is fine, but I knew I was doing it for some attention, and I needed to know that I was still desirable and that I'm a great person, so I bolster my ego up again, go back to the primary relationship, and I might in fact not tell the truth of where I've been that evening. So that was my way of closing the back door. Another way could be like excessive Facebook time, or going off and just burying yourself in your work. Another one. Anything that takes you off the boil of this alchemy. Another area to look at is immaculate truth-telling. And that doesn't necessarily mean factual truth. The truth of your thoughts. The truth of your feelings.
Okay, let's pause there. And so to tell the truth of our thoughts. So even before there's any type of action that we would speak to speak. So what if someone was having an attraction to someone? To right in that moment. To address it.
Yes. Yeah, and then the truth of that feeling. And of course, this is where I am with Pete. You know, he can say, I am attracted to this person. I can pretend in my spiritual nature all is well, and that is absolutely okay with me, whereas my little inner child is not happy at all, and she's very afraid. So the truth of that comes out in as much vulnerability as possible. Not easy. Not easy. This is living experience for myself right now.
Ashley and I were talking in our last call about bringing vulnerability and telling the truth and being transparent much earlier in relationships than waiting so long. We tend to think that we have to build up for that, create the strength of the connection, and we wait and we wait and we wait, but we end up kind of missing it or bypassing it too. So one of the conversations we've been having is, you know, really right from the beginning, when we know that we're going deep with someone, to bare ourselves in a way.
Another pointer we say to people going into this alchemical work is to give yourself a very realistic time frame, maybe 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, and you absolutely make this vow, this integrous vow, no matter what, I am not going to discuss or plan how to leave you. Okay. Because that is a weakening agent. So let's just say it's very alchemical. All your vulnerabilities are coming up.
Right.
And someone says, do you know what? I'm done. And it's been 3 months. That is not helpful. You must develop the capacity, as Yogi Bhajan would say. You just got to hang in there. You have to endure the alchemical ocean for a set period of time so that everyone knows, no matter what, we're in this for 3 months, 6, 9, or 1 year.
Right.
And this flaky, I'm in, I'm out, it's off, it's not. No, we can't have that. Because it is so ferocious and delicate that human being, those human beings need a handrail. There must be a handrail and a safety net, because everything that holds them together is going to melt. And the pure essence of the soul will rise. Right. But the structures are going to fall. And you can't open up. I know there can't be a guarantee. I love for there to be a guarantee. I'd be the first one to sign. I'd be in the line for the guarantee. There isn't a guarantee. But what we can do is we can make a promise that we can stand for and just make it realistic.
Beautiful.
So, that's 3 things.
It's beautiful. And Anaiya, you are part Irish, right?
Yeah.
So I know that in the Irish and Celtic traditions, there is hand fasting, which you bind the wrist and you make these commitments to each other. And then at the end of that time period, you reevaluate to choose whether you will bind again.
Yes.
But you stick to it in the time that you choose. How would you know... how would you know when it's time to dissolve, when that's the highest between 2 beloveds? How do we have the discernment to know when to stick with it and to really go the distance? And when do we know when that discernment arrives and it's time for it to dissolve for the greatest alchemy?
Number 1. Is anybody getting abused? If there's physical abuse, end of contract. If there's psychological abuse, end of contract. If there's emotional abuse, there's going to be some emotional turmoil. That's a guarantee. But any level of abuse, it is over. I would also, what I do is I pray. So I'm, my ego's kicking off. The suitcases are packed in my head. But then I call forth, beloved, Holy Spirit, show me the true nature of this. Can I, am I able to withstand this? Can I go further? And so I always consult my own soul. So I'd never make a decision from my mind or even my heart. I need that soul essence to come into my awareness and feel and look around the quality of the soul. And I'd ask myself things like, am I growing? Doesn't matter if I'm growing via discomfort or comfort. Right. Am I becoming a kinder, softer, more open-hearted, radiant person? Actually, yes. Even if it's rough. Okay, then we carry on. And of course there will be periods of, the lovemaking is ecstatic and wild and happening, and then there's periods when it's not. Old paradigm says that's the time to leave the relationship, when sex is not happening, not in the new paradigm. Sexual energy is the healing energy, and it's very closely related to the soul essence. The sexual expression may well be channeled to go elsewhere, and rightfully so. So don't let lack of sex be the indicator that the relationship is over. That is old paradigm. It could well be being used somewhere else. Growth is the thing to look for.
I would like that.
And any form of repetitive abuse, out. Quit, leave. This is not the one. This is not the man of love or the woman of love for you.
Beautiful. Thank you for that.
We've learned that one.
Yes, we have. We have. So the Magdalena, I'd like to turn our attention to her. And she, in the psyche and the consciousness and the hearts of so many, this flame of the Magdalena is really on the rise. And almost everywhere I travel to, there's at least one or two women that somehow share a story with me or a connection with me and want to know more. And I find that this is opening up and increasing. It could be because it's opening and increasing in me and I attract it. But I also feel that this is actually her flame is igniting in a brighter way right now. And for me, it's been coming over the last several years and just waking up. And I really feel this and see this in a lot of places. So I'd love for you to speak to us about the Magdalena.
Well, to me, the Magdalena is this red-blooded, wholesome, gorgeous, abundantly delicious high priestess. And this way that she has with all creatures, with women, with men, with children, is very much the offering that I think we can feel rising in us. I call it something like taking the war out of man. Mary, to me, represents that quality of woman who is in alignment with her integrity and her sovereignty, and completely erotic and completely holy and sensual and sacred. She is not a threat to other ladies. She totally, joyfully delights in their beauty, in their sacred offerings, in their contributions. So that element of compare and contrast, old paradigm, gone. You couldn't possibly compare and contrast yourself to Mary because she's just delight. Everyone delights in her. So that beautiful aspect is just erased. And she's a body worker. Her body, her eyes, her hair, her words, her hands were the transmission. She was a flame with the transmission from you-know-who. And this, I believe, is very much what is arising in us ladies and men now. We know it's got nothing to do with meditation. We know it's got nothing to do with any kind of transcendent experience. It's coming through our bodies. Oh my God, we don't know what's happening. We're dancing, we're making love, we're dressing in certain ways. The body is finally allowing that mystical wisdom to pour out of it. And that is Mary.
Thank you. Thank you. Will you speak to us of this beautiful painting here?
Well, this is the Holy Sophia. It's a representation of the Holy Sophia.